He made a lot of bold predictions the last time he was on our podcast. Billy Demora, who we're calling Nostrademora, returns to see what has come to fruition tonight. Whiskey business. Happy New Year. Is it too late to say that? Too far into the new year to say Happy New Year? I never know what the rules actually are. What I can't believe is that I'm saying Happy New Year already. It doesn't seem like it was a year that passed, despite the fact that a lot of people think that 2020 was one of the longest years ever. I can't believe that I'm saying here we are in 2021. And I do remember that in 2020, we started out with so much hope and optimism and then got smacked right in the nutsack for the rest of the year. And then everybody couldn't wait for 2020 to be over. But here we are in 2021 with, let's see. Let's start with COVID still raging throughout the country, despite the fact that vaccines are being implemented. Our capital was raided on a lesser note, but still important to sport fans. Our beloved Buckeyes lost a national championship. On a note below that, my beloved Steelers were knocked out of the playoffs by the Cleveland Browns. So is it more Happy New Year? A question? Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome back to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. In this new year, broadcasting once again remotely, because that's the safe and smart thing still to do. As I think one of the stats was 1 out of 15 people are now getting COVID. And like I said, optimistically, the vaccine's out there, and I don't know where you're at in the line to get it. I think I'll probably get it sometime in 2022 at this point. But that's okay. I've been playing it safe, trying to do the smart things, as have the two people that I cannot do this podcast without. They have remained smart and healthy and safe distance. Greg Hansberry on the audio side, and hey. Boys, Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Actually gotten together since our Christmas episode.
Nope.
So I trust everything's going well in your lives as we get ready to do this first new podcast of the year, which I am looking forward to, because it brings back a returning guest who's back way sooner than he would ever normally be back. Billy Demora will be joining us once.
Yes.
We're entitling this episode Nostrademora because he made some predictions in the last podcast that actually came to fruition. So we'll discuss some of those. And as is the case with Billy, it should go off the rails pretty quickly. So I'm looking.
What the word triggered? He gets triggered very easily.
Yeah. It's a hair trigger.
Yeah, hair trigger with Billy.
Hair trigger with Billy. But you guys have been good. Families are good. Everybody's been healthy.
Everybody's healthy,
Yep. Yeah. No new mutations over here as of now.
Right? Scary shit, man. Scary stuff.
My wife is actually going to get the inoculation or whatever in next week.
Okay.
Nice.
That's right. She works down at OSU at WexMed. So
yeah, that's right. So she's going to get it next week.
You're going to find her belly up at all the bars.
Yeah.
I can't.
Scares me that everybody thinks that once I get it, I'm superhuman and they can do whatever I want. No,
I told her when she told me she was going to get it. I said, "Well, just say nice things about me at the funeral."
Yeah. So we were texting back and forth. Gary's like, "Can I have your Donovan albums?" And I said, "Greg, that's terrible. Can I have your stereo?"
Right.
Yeah. No, man.
Yeah, let's got to go somewhere. We got to get, your son doesn't
Yeah.
want your old records. Come on.
No, not at all.
Before I introduce the guest bottle and bring in our guest Hansberry, some much needed business to catch people up on here in 2020.
That's right. Whiskey Business is the podcast, not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. You can find it on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, TuneIn, iHeart, just any one of your favorite podcast apps. We will be there. We're on iTunes, the SoundCloud right here, as you can see. Thanks, Johnny. Whiskeybusinesspod.com is our website, where we've got videos, kind of our catch-all for everything else, because we do have a YouTube channel with some great links. YouTube Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. Go ahead and click right there if you're watching us and hit subscribe, please and thank you. And share these videos. Also, let's see what else. Social media on the Facebook, like and share, Instagram and Twitter. And I also noticed a new platform that I'm trying to work on, Discovery Plus. I don't know if you guys seen Discovery Plus out there yet, but I think we're going to be right up there with who's the guy Alton does all, who does all the animal documentaries.
I don't know.
Attenborough.
Yes, Richard Attenborough.
It's going to be Attenborough and Whiskey Business, right? Boom, boom at Discovery Plus
together.
So, yeah. We're going to try to get as many places as we can. And also, I wanted to tell you about a cool event. Our friends Leanne Sims and Blair Beavers, who have been on the show a couple times, and they do the Columbus Craft Cocktail Tour around town. They're hosting a virtual Women in Whiskey tasting event. So they talk to female influencers around the industry and hear their stories. So this Friday, the 22nd, they're going to be talking to Lisa Wicker from Widow Jane, which is a distillery that, and I don't think you could get Widow Jane stuff here in Columbus or in Ohio yet.
I think yes, you can.
Okay. All right. Well, I stand corrected. Regardless, go to their website, ColumbusCraftCocktailTour.com, and you can buy a ticket for $30, and they hand deliver you. You'll get 4 pretty hefty samples of Widow Jane, and you get a good variety, and then you sit there and you watch the video with Lisa Wicker, and they talk about it, and you do a virtual tasting. You get it sloshed right here from your home. So that's nice. Kind of a fun idea.
Yeah, the Widow Jane is good stuff. I'm a big fan.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm doing it. So that's what I'll be hurting on Saturday morning. I'll tell you that much.
Well, you are one of the biggest woman influencers in whiskey. You're quite
my estrogen levels just
Widow Jane is available. You can get that in Ohio. What you can't get in Ohio just yet, and I don't know why.
Whoa.
We've had the bottom shelf Heaven Hill on our show before, but this is the bottled in bond, the 7-year Heaven Hill. This replaced the 6-year bottled in bond, much to a lot of fans of the 6 years dismay, because it was available for between 12 and 15 bottles, $15 a bottle in Kentucky. But then they came out with the 7-year, which was first released back in 1939. This came out in October of 2019. I managed to score a bottle when I was down in Florida, where it is available, and a bunch of other states where it is available, and of course Kentucky, but not yet available in Ohio. And it's really good. It goes for somewhere between $35 and $40 a bottle. And it's only 1 year older, but I got to tell you, having had the 6-year and the 7, 1 year has made a lot of difference in this particular bottle. I really like it. The nose has got a nice vanilla and caramel nose to it. The palate is starts off a little spicy and kind of, there's a whole lot going on there. And the finish afterwards is not as long as I'd like it to be. It's somewhere between a medium and a almost long finish. But the fact that to the nose, I get those nice aromas of vanilla and caramel. Then I get the spicy, but then when it finishes, it goes back to that sweet finish. So
It doesn't burn on its way down.
no, it's kind of like a all-encompassing, nice little gift bag of love in a whiskey bottle. So Heaven Hill bottle,
The blue label.
hopefully it'll start showing up in Ohio at some point if we carry the other bottom shelf Heaven Hill. But when this one does pop up, I strongly recommend that you pick it up.
And what did we say about the bottom shelf? I can't remember. Did we? I mean, it's a good bottom shelf liquor?
It was one of those Heaven Hill. Yeah, Heaven Hill is just one of those bourbons that that just because it's on the bottom shelf, a lot of people dismiss it. But we actually, it's funny. I can remember who we had it with.
Yeah.
We had it with Bill Farmer.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
We had it with Bill Farmer because Bill Farmer was a screenwriter, is a screenwriter, and William Faulkner was a writer in the Bills, and Heaven Hill was William Faulkner's favorite go-to whiskey. So that's my connection.
Right.
Oh, that makes complete sense.
But I have an odd gift for remembering, who our guests were and what the bottles were, which is amazing because this is our 151st bottle
Crazy.
on the podcast, to the point where I actually had to get a new notebook. First page of a new notebook for my notes.
That's a nice one. Is that like a nice leather bound book right there?
Yeah, that was given to me by the nice people at Woodford. I've been getting a lot of stuff from some nice people.
Nice.
I got to thank Brown Foreman, Jeff Fulham from Brown Foreman, Jack Daniels dropped off, brought me a lovely trio of Jack Daniels bottles that two from the personal collection and one from the state pick that I was down there with the state of Ohio.
Nice. It's because you wore that shirt, that Christmas sweater. That's why.
Maybe, possibly, who knows?
Just keep wearing it.
Or maybe they're just good people.
You hear that, Rax Restaurants?
That's right.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you're going to bring the franchise back, man.
I'm wearing a Rax.
You have to go where? To Circle or Lancaster to get a Rax?
I think there's two in the country, and they're both about 45 minutes south of Columbus. And Lancaster.
Is it really a better roast beef sandwich in your opinion?
Yeah, but it's not worth a 45-minute drive. That's kind
the
of
roast beef sandwich with the Rax sauce.
I tell you what, Arby's hasn't beat with the sauce. Rax just has like GFS barbecue sauce.
Yeah, well,
So part of it's the novelty, but their fries are.
All right.
We digress. We digress.
They're wonderful. All right. Well, let's get to it, shall we?
All right.
Let's do it.
He's been on the podcast a bunch of times, normally just before the start of an Ohio State football season. And we discuss his many, many superstitions that he's kept, dropped, maintained, changed, whatever the case might be. We know him best as the world's most superstitious Buckeye fan. But the last time he was on the show, there was no Buckeye football. Big Ten had suspended play for the season. And we thought we got to get Billy on to discuss this. So we had, if you want to go back in the archives and listen to a season demoralized, because we try to
love the title.
Name. Let's welcome back Billy Demora for this episode that we are calling Nostrademora, because predictions were made. Predictions were made at that particular podcast. A lot of them came true. A lot of them came to fruition. We'll cover all the bases. Welcome back, Billy. Nice to have you.
Nice to be here, Dino. And by the way, I have my bottle of Heaven Hill 7-year right here, too.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice. I knew that you wouldn't be, without. I couldn't scoop you. I'll save this question for later. Let's talk about the last podcast you were on. You were upset. Ohio State was not playing football, but you said that Big Ten football would come back. It did. And my first question is, do you think that by being on the podcast, because you insisted on being on the podcast, that would actually move things along? Do you think that by being on the podcast, that actually helped move the decision.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I'm not on the podcast, only bad things can happen. So
That's right.
I had the sense that if I keep doing the same things, that we'd get football season, and it happened. And we only got to play 6 regular season games, and then the championship game, and then the playoff games. But we got football, and thank God, because without football, I might not be on this planet anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I know. And you said boldly that not only would we play football, but that we would go to the national championship. And we did. Sadly, we were let's just face it, we were outplayed, we were outmatched. We didn't have all the faculties that we needed to play a full game. We were minus a defensive lineman. I don't care what they say about our quarterback. The shot he took in the Clemson game, nobody bounces back from that 100%.
No way.
That many days later,
He said 95%, but there's no way he was over 70%.
No. Alabama is whatever they are, but I think if we would have had
They're cheaters.
our way, what's that? Go ahead.
I said they're cheaters. I mean, how do they go all season? Their coach gets COVID, but no other player gets COVID. I mean, we have our coach gets COVID, and half the coaching staff and 20 players each game go out. But Alabama just must not have tested, because, no one player sat out for COVID the entire season, which is a bunch of crap.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. The testing needs to be unified for sure.
So you think that there was COVID that was running rampant through the football team, but they just played through it?
Yes, because they're in the South. They all cheat. You saw the victory in the streets of Tuscaloosa. They had 10,000 kids out there running around. Not one of them was wearing a mask. It looked like a Trump rally.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was thinking the same thing myself.
So do you think if we were at full potential, we could have beat them? Because what we did against Clemson was just.
I don't know if we'd have won the game. I don't know if we'd have won the game, but I know it would have been a lot better than what it turned out to be. You're right. The running back who'd been a stud for the last 2 weeks prior goes down on the first play from scrimmage. We're down. Togiai had a monster season. He and Haskell Garrett in the middle of the line. We're putting pressure on the quarterbacks. We're stopping the running plays. We lost Tyreek Smith on the end. It was just one thing after another. And you're right that there was no way that Justin Fields was 100% of taking that cheap shot hit from the Clemson linebacker who got disqualified for hitting him like that. It was just all the fates were against us. We overcame so much all season to win the Big Ten championship. We beat Michigan State with no offensive lineman. We had a guy center the ball, and the first 14 snaps, no one had a clue where they're going. Justin Fields was going up, down, left, right, below, and above. You saw what happened to your team on Sunday when the first snap went over your guy's head. Justin Fields did that 15 straight snaps when the center had no clue what he was doing, and we still scored 56 points against Michigan State. So, and then the team up north quit. They only had 9 total athletes in the whole athletic department test positive for COVID the week before our game, but they knew we would score 100 against them, and little Jimmy Khaki Pants just decided, I'm not playing Ohio State because I'm scared of it.
Little Jimmy Khaki Pants.
Hey, before you respond to that, we need to see your eyes. Can you make sure can you tilt your foot? There you go. Yeah.
Right.
We're only seeing your nose and your mouth.
All we got in that whole segment, all we got was Demora nose.
I'm sorry.
It's a fine nose.
I'm
It's a
not
fine
used to it on
nose.
my damn phone, but my internet connection sucks.
That's okay. That's much better. That's much better.
Perfect.
And you mentioned the Browns, us losing to the Browns. Now I know that you while you have love in your heart for Cleveland and you watch them, you I don't want to say gave up on the Browns, but you stopped getting season tickets, didn't you?
I used to have season tickets for 31 years, and then the year before they went 0-16, I dropped my season tickets because the guy I went to all the games with died of pancreatic cancer. And I don't know if it was a sign or not that he didn't want to live through the Browns 0-16 or 1-15 seasons. But when he died, I just stopped getting my tickets. And, because we sucked. I mean, we sucked for 2 years. We were the worst team in the history of NFL football. But no, I'm happy. Like I grew up a Browns fan. I'm happy as a lark that we won the game. I'd love to see us be competitive against Kansas City. I'm not a fan of the owner, who's a Republican scumbag, but whatever.
I did not know that he was a Republican scumbag.
Oh yeah, his brother is the governor of Tennessee. Our owner should have been in prison for he wasn't giving truckers. He owns a bunch of truck stops. He wasn't giving the truckers their rebates that they were owed, and he's two of his employees, like two people underneath him, but he's scot-free because he's a rich Republican. They don't get charged with crimes.
And what do you think their chances are against Kansas City? Honestly.
I don't know if the weather's. Listen, we have one of the better running games in football. It's all going to depend if our offensive linemen. You saw that. That Baker Mayfield, who I'm not a big fan of because what he did here in Ohio State, but he had two linemen blocking for him that he just met 5 minutes before the game started. He never even seen them before, and they were playing offensive line for him. Because one guy gets out with COVID, the other guy gets down in the second or third play of the game. Our offensive line, if we're healthy, are studs, and Tennessee can't stop the run. And if we run the ball and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, we got a puncher's chance.
All right.
Okay.
Well, at this point, I'm rooting for the Browns. They defeated the Steelers handily. How often does a quarterback throw for over 500 yards and loses a game, which Roethlisberger did? But that first quarter was just nightmarish for me as a Steelers fan, and the ration of shit that I have taken in the last couple of days. 17 years.
Not from me, though. Not from me.
From you. No, not from you. But 17 years of angst that finally just exploded, and that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Our friend Jamie Sanfilippo said it's like having a younger brother that you've played horse with for 17 years,
and then finally.
And he finally, your younger brother finally beat you at a game of horse, and you're like, all right, fine, you won, congratulations.
But that's when you retire, though. You just hang up. I did that with my mom with Scrabble. She always killed me, and I beat her one time, and I never played her again for 10 years.
I'm done.
It pissed her off.
It pissed her off, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, if you remember, Al Michaels in the beginning of the third quarter says, "I'm sure no Bronx fan is not a little nervous now that they don't lose this game." And I was, of course, every one of us shook our head like, "Yes, Al Michaels, we realize we can still lose this game."
Yeah.
And until
very Brown-like.
Until that last interception, I was not at all happy because I thought, "Oh my God, we're gonna find a way to chuck this thing."
Well, yeah, you almost blew it the game before that with when we had didn't have our starters in. We were just a conversion away from tying it up, and who knows what would have happened. But
Ben Roethlisberger is the winningest quarterback in history at that stadium.
Yes.
Up in Cleveland.
Up till now. And
what about while we're talking about football, Devontae Smith, who just dominated. What's the rumors here about him going to Johnny's Bengals? You think that'll shake out, or is that just talk?
Who knows? It all depends where the team is that has a need for what. The Bengals need a wide receiver. I don't know if he'll be around that long because, other teams need a wide receiver. The Jets, theoretically, Sam Darnold, isn't a horrible quarterback. And if they don't take Justin Fields or Mr. Androgynous beforehand, they could take Devontae Smith. Who knows?
Yeah, good call.
Mr. Androgynous. That's funny. That's funny. Have you come to the defense of the Buckeyes? I mean, they're what were they? 122 out of 120 out of 127 as far as defense. After that game, we couldn't stop them on third and whatever.
Juggernaut.
Yeah. So where do you think the future of our Buckeyes are, Billy?
We're
new quarterback next year.
Preseason, I guarantee you that. No, we lose a quarterback. We're going to lose some good players. I mean, but we are loaded coming back. We have all the wide receivers but Olave. We got a stud wide receiver coming in. We got 2 5-star quarterbacks on the team now. We got another 5-star coming in. We've got the number 1 player in the country, Jack Sawyer from up north in Olentangy. I think it's Olentangy, coming in for defensive line. Our secondary is only going to get better. I mean, we're going to win the Big Ten. We're going to score 100 on little Jimmy Khaki Pants. That's my prediction. First prediction is we will score 100 on little Jimmy Khaki Pants next year for them canceling their game and maybe on purpose so we didn't get to go to the Big Ten championship game. But thank God the Big Ten, the Big Ten changed the rules because they should have. Because I mean, it's all about money, and Ohio State was the only team going to go to the playoff for the Big Ten, and so. Next year's biggest game, believe it or not, is not the team up north. It's against Indiana on the first Saturday of November.
But still, the rivalry, I mean, it is what it is. And we were deprived that this year. So, but again, kudos to you, sir, for saying that Big Ten football would come back and we would go to the national championship. Congratulations. Your first Nostrademora prediction,
yes.
2 of them coming true, that Big Ten football would come back, that they would go to the national championship. You did not get the win right. I'm sorry, 2 out of 3. But then as we continued on.
If you remember, though, I didn't predict we would win the national championship game, if you remember that. I just said we would go to the national championship game.
Oh, really? I thought you said we would actually win it as well.
I knew we'd go there, but I was always leery about Alabama, and I don't know if I actually said we'd win the game. But I mean, I could be proven wrong because I was a little drunk that night. But
we'll go back to the tapes.
Yeah, right. Go back to the tape. Right.
I was just happy to get redemption on Clemson. That was redemption enough for me.
That was a nice win
this season. That was just.
I agree. It was an ass whipping. I loved it.
A beautiful game to watch. And then as our podcast went on the last time, you being deeply involved in the Democratic Party with what you do, tell people again what you do for the Democratic Party. Tell them what you do.
What was that? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Tell people what you do for the Democratic Party.
I am the secretary of the state Democratic Party.
Yes. As we just started to discuss politics reluctantly in the last podcast, you were adamant that Donald Trump would lose the election. And he did, not in the fashion that we had hoped for, but ultimately he did, despite everything that's going on. And I'm very curious as to how you felt, not only after it was official that Joe Biden was the president-elect, but the entire fiasco that took place during all of that, leading up to the tragic set of circumstances that was a blemish and a stain on our democracy as far as I'm concerned, no matter who or what is in the White House. What happened here recently was just deplorable beyond mention. But for someone like you who is deeply involved in the political system, as it were, where do you think things stand right now? And this podcast will drop on Monday, Hansberry, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
What is Monday? What date is Monday?
The 18th or 19th.
The 18th
So
and 19th.
a couple days before the inauguration.
We're all on. We've all been cautioned and warned that from the 17th to the 20th, that we need to have a huge heads up in respects to what's happening politically in this country. So, Billy, I'm kind of curious as to what your thoughts are on any or all of it at this point, starting with the fact that the House, as of this podcast, this recording tonight, the House has impeached and so nice they did it twice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, twice. I mean, on election night, I didn't go to bed. I don't think any Democrat went to bed. The next night, with no outcome, no one went to bed. Finally, they started I mean, if you could read the tea leaves, though, and it's amazing to me that the right-wing Trump lovers, there's only voter fraud in states that Trump lost close, but North Carolina or Florida or Ohio, there's no voter fraud in those states because Trump won them. So obviously,
it's
no voter
a
fraud.
coincidence. That's such a coincidence.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's a crop. And then they declared him the winner. And it was Saturday, and it was a gorgeous Saturday here. It was warm, and I think like everybody else, I had a couple of my buddies come over, and my girlfriend was here, and we popped open a bottle of bubbly because Joe Biden was declared the winner of the election. And now we got all this other crap that's going on. I mean, misinformation, lies, just a bunch of crap from a bunch of people who are uneducated, racist pieces of crap. And, what on last Wednesday is a travesty. Everybody should be held accountable for it. They're starting to arrest all these people. If you saw the internet stuff, 3 or 4 people got put on a no-fly list for their parts. And what happened? We're bawling like little babies. I can't believe I get you to fly anymore. Well, that's what happens when you storm the Capitol and commit sedition and insurrection of our government. And you're right. We impeached the sociopath for the second time today. Got several Republicans voted for the impeachment. And now the mob wants to, I got a call from the mayor's office today because I was in the building at state party headquarters, and they said they're encouraging everybody not to be downtown over the weekend, not to be at our office on inaugural day because of what might happen with all the gun-toting racist pieces of crap wandering our city. So I'm not going to be at the office. Several state parties got threats. Obviously, you saw last Wednesday put a pipe bomb at Democratic and Republican National Committee headquarters. I mean, these people are out of control. The president incited them. I'm glad he got impeached again. I'm hoping that he's going to walk out of the White House in handcuffs next Wednesday, although he's not going to be there. So that wherever he goes, I hope they cuff him and lead him away. I hope everybody in his family goes to prison. These guys are enablers, and they're guilty of sedition against the United States, and they all deserve to be locked up.
How do you really feel?
Yeah.
And this wraps up the podcast.
What was that?
How do you really feel?
For some reason, Dino, you keep going in and out on.
What's that?
He can't hear. The audio's
You
a
keep
little,
going in and
little
out.
choppy.
I apologize. Yeah, this is the struggle with the remote broadcast from time to time. I apologize. Moving forward, Billy, it's going to be a challenge for this administration coming in. I mean, they've got quite a lot ahead of them to unruffle, to put it politely. I mean, with everything that's going on, to undo a lot of the madness, to undo a lot of the craziness that's taken place. And I'm curious if you have an ear to the ground as to how that transition is going to go and how smoothly or not smoothly it may resolve itself.
No, I mean, I think that President-elect Biden has a plan. I think they're going to see in the first several weeks, you're going to see dozens and dozens and dozens of executive orders basically reversing course on everything the sociopath has done the last 4 years, environmentally, immigration-wise, dreamers, all that stuff. We're going to have executive orders to overturn all that crap that he did. We're going to stop building a border wall. We're actually going to have a plan to distribute the vaccine. And I think things are looking great. I think things are going to get much better. You know, we've got the Senate. I mean, I when our discussion of football, I had a great thing you didn't let me get to, but I will never, for the next 4 years, I can never root against the Georgia Bulldogs because they saved democracy.
I know, right?
Joe Biden and 2 Democratic senators, they saved our democracy. So I will be rooting for Georgia and every team they play against, except for Ohio State, for the next 4 years. For sure.
Okay.
Just 4 years though. There's limits.
That's very
Nice.
magnanimous of you to say that and do that. But you're right. Georgia pulled through magnificently.
Yeah.
A black senator, a Jewish senator. I mean, in Georgia,
We lost him.
you know, so overdue, so incredibly overdue. I noticed that let's step away from politics for a second and go back to your superstitious nature, if you will. I noticed that you're wearing a Blue Jackets jersey. That's a great place to freeze.
I
You wearing a
what
Blue
did you say,
Jackets
Dino? I'm
jersey?
sorry.
I said, let's go back to your superstitious nature for just a second. Let's get away from politics for just a moment. I noticed from the onset of the podcast that you were wearing a Blue Jackets jersey and no Ohio State wear of any type.
That's correct. I mean, we lost the national. Normally, if we lose a regular football game, I have a 48-hour moratorium on wearing anything Ohio State. But since we lost the national championship game, I can't wear it until Saturday. So I have nothing. I have nothing that says Ohio State on. I'm wearing Blue Jackets today. I wore Biden stuff yesterday. I have no idea what I'm wearing tomorrow because I've maybe Browns, maybe Indians, but I have very few clothes that don't say Ohio State on them. So I'm kind of at a loss. I'm saving my goatee tomorrow because we lost. So that's getting shaved off.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and how much longer are you going to be able to wear your Indian stuff? What do you? They're going to change.
I'm wearing my Indian stuff till the day I drop dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you have a name picked out for the new team that you like?
Yeah, there should be the Spiders like the old team.
You want them to be the Spiders?
Yes.
That might be kind of sweet. I like that.
Yeah, I could do the Spiders. I could do the Spiders. I like that. Yeah.
I said earlier
the Rock. What was that?
I said earlier, right when the news first broke, I said the Rocks because Cleveland Rocks.
Cleveland Rocks. Yeah, okay, I love. That was a great song. I love it, but
no Spiders.
Spiders.
I hate spiders. I
know. Well, we all hate spiders, but that's even better.
Oh, that's right, because you're fearful of spiders.
That's right.
I also want to ask you another thing, and this is probably a selfish, personal question. But I know locked away in your home are some very expensive, rare bourbons, including a full Pappy collection. And for months leading up to the election, I heard talk about the uncorking of a particular year of Pappy once Joe Biden won the election that you would share with certain friends. I thought it was one of those friends. I want to know if that bottle has been popped yet, and did I just miss it? Did I?
No, you have not missed it. Now, I edited the bottle to the Pappy 12 because I want to keep a full flight. I have 2 bottles of Pappy 12. I wanted to keep the flight of 10, 12, 13-year rye, 15, 20, 23 intact because if something ever happens to me, I can sell that for $20,000 to get back on my feet. But so I am opening the bottle of Pappy 12. You have not missed it. I think I might have people, officially we're not president until Wednesday, but we can't go downtown Wednesday. So some point in the near future, I mean, also no one wants to get together and come anywhere and see anybody to drink because of COVID. I've invited you to my house 27 times
You
to
have.
come and drink, and
You
you
have.
haven't been over yet.
You
But
have.
we will. At some point, I'll go down to my wine locker downtown, and we'll have the bottle of Pappy 12, and I will pour out 23 of my closest friends. Will get 1 ounce of Pappy 12 to celebrate the end of fascism, the fascist leader of the United States and electing Joe Biden president.
But Billy, I have a bottle of Pappy 12 here that I've
Okay.
opened up for Hansberry and for Whitney. I mean, I think I
Okay, so I mean, I have.
I think I need a little something more. Given the anguish and the stress of this whole political process,
I'll take his 12.
I think my reward needs to be bigger.
I mean, I've got. Okay, well, I got birthday bourbon. I've got Saz 18. I got William Llewellyn coming. I've got George T. Stagg coming.
Now you're talking.
I have to drive to Alabama. I don't know if I showed you, but I think I texted to you, but I don't know. So a friend of mine in Alabama got me for face value $480. I got a bottle of Old Forester Birthday, Pappy Van Winkle, William Miller, and George T. Stagg. Face value $480 for the 4 bottles.
That's
But I have to
incredible.
go down to Alabama. I was going to pick it up on the way to the playoff game in New Orleans, but then they didn't allow any fans in other than family, so I didn't drive down there to pick up my bourbon. But I'm going to drive down here in a week or so and go to Alabama, pick up my bourbon, and stop in Kentucky on the way home, buy another $1,000 worth of bourbon, and then I'll be set for the rest of COVID.
For the rest of COVID.
All right. Fair enough.
And
Hey,
you come over. I mean, I got a. What was
Go
that?
ahead, Billy. Just go ahead, Billy.
I was saying I've got 3 single barrels of Peerless. I've got a rye. I opened it last night. Old Saint Nick rye. $160. I got 2 of Old Forester single barrel option picks. I won the lottery for. I had to drive to Kentucky on a Wednesday. Living at the bottom home. I got one of the Watershed Amaro barrel bourbons, which is awesome. I don't know if you got one of those. I got one of those. So you got to get your ass over here and drink.
Yes, I do. And I will. It's not just like I said in the beginning of the podcast. We've all been collectively trying to stay safe. It's almost like we've come this far, and now that the vaccine is being distributed, it's just like I want to cross that finish line, COVID free to the best.
Don't blow it now.
Yeah. No shit.
Not that I think that you, Billy, would be. I don't think there's a virus out there that would survive your angst or temperament. I think any virus that even attempted to get into your system would run for its dear life after being circulating through whatever it is that's in your particular DNA makeup. So yeah,
I drink every night. Alcohol a day keeps the COVID away. That's my motto.
That is true. I'm finding, yes.
There's been some significant studies that those who drink and I've said this before, but everybody poo-poos it. Those who smoke as well have also had a better shot at keeping
COVID enters your body. Get me the hell out of here! This sickly body. This host isn't anything I can survive on. Now, Billy, I was going to ask you. You mentioned you went to the football game. You went to the national championship game. Did you go? You didn't go.
My tickets fell through the day before I was supposed to go, and I didn't get to go.
Oh, bummer.
Did you go to any other game? I know. Was it just family and coaches, or did you go to any of the games this year?
For the entire season.
Say that again.
I bought one of those cardboard likenesses, and it was in the stadium for the entire season, Ohio Stadium, and now it's in my living room. As you walk in the door, the first thing you see, if you look to the left, is my likeness.
That's frightening.
It is very frightening. But it looks exactly like me with my full Ohio State garb on. So, I mean, why not? But no, I didn't get tickets. I was depressed. I'm kind of happy now with the outcome of the game on Monday that I didn't spend $2,000 and go down there for that debacle. I might not have made it home alive, but I wanted to go. I did my best. You know, if I can't get tickets, and a lot of people couldn't get tickets because Ohio State only had 3,750 tickets for the game. Coach got 6 tickets. They gave a few to students, and then the tickets they gave to alumni were basically face value was $965 a piece.
Wow.
Secondary market, you know, I'm not flying down to Florida. And first of all, I carry cash on me like a typical Italian. I got a couple $100 on me all the time, but I don't typically fly with $2,000 in cash on my person to fly down there and not know if I'm going to get a ticket. And then if you buy a ticket, you know, I got all my tickets from Ohio State normally, and you go down there, if you know if your ticket's real or fake, and then you're screwed. You spent $2,000, you can't get in. So I don't typically do that. So I missed out. You know, like I said, with the outcome that happened, I'm glad I didn't waste all that money to fly down there. Being in New Orleans would have been great, but you know, what can you do?
So moving forward into the next season, when we talk to you again, when hopefully everything returns to some sense of normalcy, do you think we'll be back to, you know, the shoe being filled up again, or in the fall, or do you think we're still going to be, you know,
well, it all depends. If you listen to everybody, I mean, I just read something yesterday, a couple articles. I think our first game is the Thursday before Labor Day at Minnesota, and I've already bought my plane ticket and have my hotel room booked for that game. And I'm hoping that if I get my COVID test, my vaccine, and I get to go because I've proven to have got my vaccine. They say though that until a certain area reaches herd immunity, that we might not have a full stadium at Ohio Stadium, but they expect herd immunity most places by September. Saying, I think if Biden's going to do what he's going to do, and he's going to have this, he actually believes the disease exists, unlike the sociopath that we're stuck with now, who doesn't believe the disease even exists, even though he got it because he's such a moron. Yeah. But Biden will actually spend time and has a whole litany of experts going to be working on this, and from now until the time that we achieve herd immunity. So I think it'll happen, and I think we'll play football. And I know that, with all the tickets I have, if they only take 25%, I figure since I have 20 tickets, I'll get to go anyhow. It'd just be somebody else, like your neighbor or somebody who is SOL, because I'm going to the games.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough.
Who you normally sell your tickets to? Nope.
No, I have friends like his neighbor, like people I work with, that I get the tickets. They buy the season tickets from me, all face value. I don't make a dime off anything because that would be wrong and illegal. And so, his neighbor and his neighbor's and his neighbor and his wife get to go. I get them tickets. I have the same 3 people sit next to me for every game. So obviously they have tickets, and my girlfriend who's sitting behind me is not one of those people. She has to sit somewhere else because she's not allowed to sit next to me because it's bad luck. So right. She gets to go. Yep. She'll take her daughter or something to do a game or two. And then just friends of mine, my boss that's what my friends get to go, and they all come to the tailgate, and there you have it. Now it's amazing how they're all Democrats, but whatever.
Well, yeah, what a coincidence.
I'm not giving tickets to people that voted for Donald Trump. That you can be sure of.
Yeah, that had to kill you too, not having your regular tailgates that you normally have.
It did, but I realized it's amazing how much sleep you can get if you don't get up at 4 a.m. before a game.
There you go. There's the bright side. Look at all the rest you got this football season. Look at all the rest and relaxation you got. It completely changed everything. Your health is probably twice as good now.
Yeah.
As opposed
hell
to
no.
During a regular season.
No.
Yeah.
Because I drink too much now. I got nothing to do with drink every night.
That's true.
Yeah, I was telling Whitney before the podcast that my drinking has actually decreased here in the last couple of months.
You must
Well,
be
I hope
sick.
your
You must
sex
have
is
caught
increased,
something.
man.
Right.
I don't. It's just like I don't know if I just reached that saturation level where like whatever. But yeah, it seems to have decreased substantially here in the last month or so. I don't know. Don't worry, boys. I'm sure I'll bounce back.
Yeah. I hope you start feeling better. No dry January.
Well, believe it or not, I'm glad we're doing this week because I start my 3-week cleanse
There you go.
on Monday because my physical is the first Friday of February. So there's no drinking for me after Monday for 3 weeks. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Unique. That's not an accurate.
Yeah.
That's not an accurate diagnosis.
Well, the hell it's not. I mean, my insurance is based on my physical, and that's money, and that's all that matters. I don't give a shit about it. I'm like, I'll lose
It's like
my
when you have a
14
dentist
pound.
appointment and like you floss really good like a couple days before you go to the dentist.
Exactly what he does.
Yeah.
Cramp for a test.
You did a real good job there, dude. Right?
I am getting a shingles vaccine though to my physical because one of my best friends had the shingles, and he's had effects of it now for almost 2.5 months. So
Yeah, how old are you, Billy?
Oh, better try.
How old are you, Billy?
5'4", 54.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I've had both shingles shots already. It's nothing to mess with. Yeah.
I've had it too. I had this like little rash, and my doctor said, "You've got the shingles." I'm like going, "What? I'm only 48."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jeez.
Yeah, they're awful. I mean, and they say that the second shingles, there's 2 shots, Billy's. There's 2 shots. You gotta get the first one. They say the second one sometimes messes with you a little bit, but I had the flu shot in one arm and the shingle shot in the other arm on the same day, and I didn't experience anything. And so
I don't get flu shots.
You don't get a flu shot, but you're gonna get
because it's just it's a randomness of which flu strain you're getting.
Yeah.
And it's all random, and and so far my odds are pretty good, but they've actually said this year because of all the mask wearing, the flu is down, wearing masks, which is a good thing. Of course, if you go to the inbred places that don't wear masks, probably the flu's up there too if they're not dead of COVID yet. But hey, maybe all those people in Alabama on Monday will get COVID and drop dead, and so I don't have to worry about Alabama anymore. Maybe Democrats can win the state now. Who knows?
Oh no.
But you won't get a flu shot, but you will get the COVID shot. Are you going to get the COVID vaccine?
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I get it, I'm getting absolutely.
You are going to get the COVID.
I haven't been to a bar since March. I got to get a fucking vaccine.
Yeah.
Go hang out with Whitney's wife.
Yeah.
Belly up at Gallows.
Yeah. So
no, Gallows a little too. I live in the short north. I don't really can't walk home.
Yeah.
Walk home.
Billy's got his locals mapped out. He doesn't have to leave the short north.
There you go.
If he goes on a road trip, it's usually
The coaches.
my house and the neighbor's house when he takes a road trip to do it.
To me, a road trip is going to Fifth Avenue to the place that what used to be Ohio, whatever it is now. I keep forgetting. That's a road trip for me, all the way up to Fifth Avenue.
Oh wow.
So as we start to wrap up tonight, moving forward and everything we've discussed, let's go back to Nostrademora and say, let's recap, if you will. Let's start small and go up the ladder. Let's start with the Cleveland Browns, whether they win or lose. And we'll know that by the time this podcast drops, we'll know if they're moving on or if they're out of it. The future of the Cleveland Browns looks bright to you, yes? The future of the Browns,
I think it is bright. I think we lose to Kansas City this weekend. We give them a pretty good game, but we end up losing. But the future of the Browns, I think, is very bright. We've got a great offensive line. We've got great running backs, great wide receivers. That's another team. The Browns, our 2 starting cornerbacks haven't played the last 2 games. We get both of them back. we get both of them back this week. Denzel Ward, the Buckeye, who's a shutdown corner in the other corner. I mean, I tell you, I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns win, but I'm not going to bet on them because I think Kansas City is the best team in the NFL by leaps and bounds. And, I think a Kansas City, Green Bay, or Kansas City, New Orleans Super Bowl would be entertaining and one that everybody would watch. But the Browns got a great future. I think the basketball Buckeyes, who are right now up by 8 points with 10 minutes to go in the second half against Northwestern, they will make the Big Ten. They will make the tournament again this year. I think the Big Ten has 9 or 10 teams that make the tournament. It'll be a record because the Big Ten is that good in basketball right now. I think that the Buckeyes will be preseason top 5. And when I come on again next August, I'll make my prediction about the outcome of the football season. After I get to see some spring practice and see how our quarterbacks are developing, I'll make a prediction. But I guarantee we'll be top 5 preseason again, and we'll win. I'll pick right now. We'll win the Big Ten. We're going to win the Big Ten, so we'll be a 5-time champ in a row of the Big Ten. I have to wait and see the playoffs until I know the.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh boy.
And the Indians' name.
That's right.
And
I think it's the Spiders. I think it's going to be Cleveland Spiders.
And politically speaking, our futures for the next 4 years?
I think in the next 2 years, with the Democratic House and Senate, we're going to get a lot of things accomplished. We're going to reverse a lot of the bad policies of the current social path. We're actually going to, right in the first couple of weeks, we're going to have another COVID bill passed to get more money out in the economy. This time, the bill will have money for state and local governments, which are being crushed by this, that the Republicans refuse to give because the idiot thinks, they're hotbeds of because actually black people live in cities, so why help them? That's Trump said. So we're going to have help for people, help for small businesses. I think that you're going to see Trump and his entire family indicted on one thing or another, and sometime in 2021, whether it's taxes, whether it's the Russians, all of that, you're going to see that happen. And I think by this time next year, our country is going to be in a much better place than it is now.
All right.
Here.
Nostrademora has spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Nostrademora has spoken. Let's see what comes to fruition as we thank you once again, Billy. Always good to talk to you. I think now also you do have the record for most appearances on the podcast because
I hope never to lose that record. Anytime someone else gets close, I expect to be on again.
Fair enough. Before we lock things up again, I'll remind everybody that our guest bottle is it was Heaven Hill 7-year-old bottled in bond, not yet available in Ohio, but hopefully it'll make its way here. If you get a chance to find this while you're traveling down in Kentucky or Florida or Texas or some of the other states where it's available, do yourself a favor and pick it up. You won't be disappointed. Also, want to thank my producers as always as we kick off. These remote podcasts are hit and miss technology-wise speaking, so we apologize for any of the glitches or blips that may have occurred throughout this thing, but we're doing the best we can with what we have to work with, and I so look forward to the day where we're just sitting across from each other again on a regular basis and doing this. But Greg Hansberry on the audio side, a couple of closing points to remind people of.
That's right. Whiskey Business is your favorite podcast. Wait. Whiskey Business is a podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. You can find everything Whiskey Business at whiskeybusinesspod.com. You can also please go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube, on your favorite podcasting app. And if you comment and like and share everything that you kind of get a kick out of, that helps us grow by kind of word of mouth. YouTube, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And of course, could not do it without the video expertise of John Whitney. Thank you, Johnny. Good to see you. Both of you have lovely haircuts. I need a haircut before it's all said. What is that?
It's a pen.
It's a Brutus pen.
A Brutus pen.
A Brutus pen. Okay.
It's a giveaway at my wife's work. They give these away to the employees, so I stole
Why
one.
don't you save one for me the next time I see you? I want one.
I have two. You can have the other one.
Look at that. Things are coming up, Billy.
I thought it was
That's right.
toothbrush, and you took the Brutus off the actual brush.
No, I got one
I'm
with a
still
dark
waiting on my underwear, though.
Got to get Billy his underwear at some point.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah. So, like I said, hopefully we'll all be together soon and put 2021. You know, I according to an email I got from an astrology website, this is supposed to be my year because I was born on the 21st, and this is 2021. So there's supposedly a lot of good things that are going to be happening to this guy in 2021. When?
Yeah.
When?
Can't be as shitty as whatever happened at 20. So
right. You know, I got through 20.
If you come over, you'll get great bourbon, but you got to come over for that.
Yeah,
things are already looking up.
Yeah, I understand. We could do that. You know, you and I, we could safe distance. We could figure it out. You know,
Absolutely.
we could do that. We could do that. We'll figure it out. So,
Buckeyes up 12, 9.5 to go.
Nice.
Go
Nice.
basketball Buckeyes.
A minute by minute update on a recorded podcast. Thanks, Billy.
Thank you, everybody who's been tuning in. We'll continue to. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up in 2021 on Whiskey Business. As we said, podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. We will have whiskey-centric type podcast. We will have a great and unusual guests joining us on a variety of things. We're actually working on bringing in some astrology people to see what that world's like as we move into 2021. Also, maybe Hansberry's working on somebody who can interpret dreams. Have you, like a lot of us, had just the most messed up dreams in the last 6 to 9 months? I know I have, and I'm having them on a regular basis. I could fill a book with them. Crazy stuff. What do those mean? Maybe we'll have a dream interpreter on to kind of discuss that. And we'll go back to doing some Facebook Live stuff as well, because you seem to enjoy that. So moving forward in 2021, it's, again, a pleasure to be your host for yet another year of Whiskey Business. And until, let me turn it the right way. There we go. Until the next bottle, see ya.